the last of my sweet wines, and probably a wine that I use to measure any winery's status, if they make one, is a noble late style of sweet wine, which is when you have the grapes that are naturally buttressized, which means that there's a kind of a mold that grows on them, and the mold sucks out the water out of the berry and concentrates the flavors in a very unique flavor spectrum and expression. And you get to you only get that in very special vintages where you've got enough humidity and rain and kind of moisture around very late in the season, and it causes this mold to grow on the berries. And if it's too dry or if there's too much rain, then it doesn't work. So you really need the ideal conditions, which makes this an exceptional wine and an exceptional expression of a grape's intensity and flavor. So occasionally we get to make a wine called Goutte D'Or, which means drop of gold, and it's classified as a noble late harvest here in South Africa. It could also be kind of classified as a Sauterne style wine, or a Trockenbeer and Auslese style in Germany, or kind of similar wine to those kind of characters in those regions. But here we make it and we call it noble late harvest. Means that it has some botrytis and noble character. It has had some time on the vines to develop these characters, and it's been matured in oak, normally for a year or year and a half, depending on the vintage. And it's sweet, but it's not excessively sweet. So it's got a richness, but it's got a lovely kind of, and especially when I make it from Chenin Blanc, it's got this kind of dried apricot, peachy, spicy characters that come through, and really it's almost the ultimate expression of a grape, because the flavors have been so concentrated through the mold that's grown on it, and gives it a completely unique character with beautiful acidity that offsets the sweetness and keeps the wine very focused and intense. Goutte D'Or is a beautiful, complex wine that is allowed to develop both on the vine and in the barrel through the winemaking and maturation of the wine, and is a wine that is produced in very tiny amounts each year or when we can, depending on the conditions, and is a very intense expression of the varietal and its character, and something to enjoy with some pate, so either as before a meal, beautifully chilled, or after a meal with a delicious dessert, especially like if you can get hold of some of my almonds and make a delicious almond torte. It's one of the greatest combinations with Beaumont Goutte D'Or. I hope you get a chance to enjoy the wine, and even if you don't, find some of those sweet wines on the restaurant menu, or those ones that you've forgotten in the back of your cellar, and make sure you open them and drink them, because they are absolutely unique expressions of a varietal and of a style of wine that I find is quite sadly not being drunk enough of at the moment. So drink a noble late when you find one, or drink a port when you find one. They're really great wines to celebrate with. Cheers.